Hello and welcome to Fight News Now Extra. It's John Pollock with you chatting all of today's news. Plus, John Ramdian and Robin Black are going to be by to discuss all of today's headlines, which include a veteran MMA referee facing prison time, Mousasi teases a weight cut, and Jon Jones has apparently obtained the medical history of Chael Sonnen. Let's get to the news. After a bizarre interview Saturday night at the Tough 17 finale, where light heavyweight champion Jon Jones wanted to be anywhere but on TV with Chael Sonnen, he spoke more openly on UFC Tonight Tuesday evening. When being interviewed by Kenny Florian and Dominic Cruz, Jones stated that he believes Chael Sonnen has been using performance-enhancing drugs all of his life, and that is why he has low testosterone and thus lacks a champion soul, as the two head into fight week for their UFC 159 showdown. Gegard Mousasi got bored on Twitter this week and threw out the question of cutting down to 185 pounds and if the fans would like to see him make that cut. Mousasi has competed at lower weights previously in his career and made his UFC debut earlier this month with a unanimous decision over Ilir Latifi. And MMA referee Josh Rosenthal is facing up to 37 months in prison after pleading guilty on Wednesday to charges of conspiracy to manufacture and distribute marijuana, along with possession with intent to distribute, following a 2012 federal raid that seized over 1,300 marijuana plants worth more than $6 million in street value. Rosenthal will face sentencing on May the 17th in U.S. District Court and could have faced up to 10 years in prison had he not pled guilty. And guess who I'm joined by? John Ramdian and Robin Black as we chat all of the news going on in the world of mixed martial arts. Let's start off with Jon Jones, who got spirited on UFC Tonight, accusing Chael Sonnen, who must obviously have been on steroids his entire career and thus having low testosterone. So we're going down the steroid route for the UFC 159 build-up.
Yeah, right after he says, yeah, I don't need to trash talk. It's trash talking. I'll leave that to him. I'm not going to trash talk at all. By the way, the guy has allegedly been on steroids his whole life. Totally uncool. There's a range of things that you can't just throw out into the stratosphere like that.
Hold on, has Chael Sonnen tested positive for anything in the past?
Not his whole life, he has not.
But has he tested
yes,
positive?
He has.
Well,
yes.
That's why. I mean, you have to imagine that, yes, Jon Jones is ticked off that Chael Sonnen has had something, you know, in his system in the past, and that he feels that this guy is a cheater. He feels that he's talked his way into a fight with
TRT is completely allowed by the commission.
Sure, but should it be?
That's.
But he also
lets
the August 2010 infraction, he did not get approved for it ahead of time and thus had the elevated levels of testosterone.
No, he got approved. They talked to him over the phone.
Oh, yeah. It was him. Matt Lindland just dropped the ball there and then he threw him right under the bus. Oh, my buddy Matt Lindland just didn't tell them. And anyway, I am not interested in this fight. Here we are a week and a half out. I am not interested in this fight at this point. I think that even the week leading up to this, I mean, is this a fight that you guys are excited to see? And will the masses be tuning in to watch this fight? Because I don't see this pay-per-view performing very well. I would much rather spend $50 on this Fox card Saturday night.
Or spend $0 on this Fox card, because that is what you have to spend to see Ben Henderson and Gil Melendez, Josh Thompson, Nathan Diaz, Frank Mir, Daniel Cormier, Jordan Meehan. Like, seriously.
Yeah, it's unreal.
And sorry, what's the co-main event of the Jones versus Chael Sonnen fight?
Belcher.
Oh, okay. Well, that's actually a pretty good fight. But I mean,
fight.
outside of that, this card really is not delivering the way that the Fox card is. And I mean, I think that's what we've come accustomed to, is the fact that the Fox is delivering, and then the UFC, on the heels of a free show, doesn't deliver the pay-per-view I think that they need to.
Yeah, well, you know, these things kind of go in trends and waves. And 18 months ago until very recently, this whole trash talk and doing poetry, being a character, all of that was so fresh and so new, and Chael Sonnen does it better than anyone. I'm a huge fan. I don't know who isn't. But, you know, it kind of wears off. Like, after a while, what do you do? How do you push it further? I mean, ultimately, we still got to watch a fight, and there's not that many people who believe Chael Sonnen is going to beat Jon Jones. I do. I kind of don't even really. I'm having a hard time convincing anybody that I even believe that. A big Chael Sonnen fan. The guy's got incredible talent, but at 205 against the very best in the world, it's hard to believe he's going to win this fight.
Has the Chael Sonnen persona become too much for people? Like, very effective in selling those fights with Anderson Silva, but when I was watching the Tough 17 finale, to me it's like he sees a red light and it's suddenly I turn on into this character at this point, and I don't believe in this person at this point, where it's just, to me, it's almost too much stick at this point.
He's good at it, man. It's a lot of fun to watch, and it's a real skill of its own. But you're absolutely right. I mean, television imitates life, which imitates television, which imitates life right now. We never really know what we're watching. You turn on, you know, any reality television show, you don't really know what you're watching, and it all kind of gets tangled up. Ultimately, we like fighting because you get to see two incredible athletes go to war and have the purest contest in the world. That's what it comes down to ultimately, and the rest of this stuff sometimes is just noise.
I don't think Chael Sonnen's shtick's getting old. I think that the way that it's going to work is this guy has to go out and he has to win fights. You know, he can have that character, but if you're losing fights, you lose the power, and no matter what type of character you have or what type of shtick you have, it doesn't work if you're losing contests. So if he can come out here and shock the world, he can keep this going, but unfortunately he's matched up with arguably the pound-for-pound best in the world right now, because Jon Jones is simply amazing. The guy's on fire, 25 years of age, and so much growth potential for this guy. Who knows? I mean, I don't expect to see the same Jon Jones in this fight that we did the last fight, because his evolution is so quick and almost so precise.
True, man.
Final story is on Josh Rosenthal, who pled guilty earlier this week, facing up to 37 months in prison. Clearly not going to be officiating anytime soon, Robin.
What is he guilty of exactly? He's into agriculture?
There was like 1,500 marijuana plants
so
that
you're
he
not
pled guilty to.
You're not allowed to farm? You're not allowed to farm in your basement? I mean, what is it exactly? Well, allegedly.
No, he pled guilty.
He allegedly pled guilty, first of all.
No, it's concrete he pled guilty.
I don't know. I disagree. But I'm going to make a line of T-shirts that simply says, "Free Josh Rosenthal." If you want a couple of them, hit me up on Twitter, Robin Black MMA.
The reason why I think he says that is because Josh Rosenthal, I think one of the best referees in mixed martial arts. You know, he trains in jiu-jitsu as well as other different types of martial arts, and I think he has a better understanding than a lot of officials out there. So I can understand why Robin would want to say free Josh Rosenthal, one of the very few guys who knows what he's talking about.
And the guy seems so mellow and relaxed in the cage, man.
Well, now you know why. So there you go.
I have no idea what you're talking about. Allegedly.
He's a mellow guy, and we obviously wish our best for Josh Rosenthal. And whatever happens in his upcoming date, he'll be back in U.S. District Court May the 17th. And
Free
Fight News Now
Josh
Extra
Rosenthal.
continues.